y'all didn't listen to me last podcast. Why are y'all lifting the Bengals up like that, man? They're not the same team. They're not going to get first. Ravens are going to get first. You think Lamar Jackson's not going to get first? Are you kidding me? What's wrong with y'all? They basically beat the Bills.
Support for Dorm Debate is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Go to manscaped.com and get 20% off plus free shipping with the code DORMDEBATE.
Ladies and gentlemen, we talk a lot about balls on this show. Context being football. We are Dorm Debate Podcast, and I won't share the details of what I do and don't shave, but a little story for mine is that I lost the usual razor I use. I cut my hair and such, and it was as if someone, I'm not going to say it was Manscaped, but my usual razor disappeared and I could not find it for the life of me. And coincidentally, we got the package, and let me tell you, I was so impressed by the quality of these things. Like, it came in so clutch because I was getting really frustrated that I couldn't find it. I lose things all the time. I haven't lost this guy because the quality is pristine. It comes with a braided cord on the connection, and it's overall a great package, and I'm so happy that we get to share the confidence that Manscaped can bring to you. The Performance Package 4.0 by Manscaped has arrived, and it is a game changer. Inside this package, you'll find their Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, Crop Preserver ball deodorant, Crop Reviver toner, Performance boxer briefs, and a travel bag to hold your goodies.
First off, the Lawnmower 4.0, this trimmer is the future of grooming, and dare I say the greatest ball trimmer ever. I was personally blown away and surprised by the performance and the craftsmanship of this trimmer. You guys know I'm an engineer. I value the ergonomics in products like these, and it's very comfortable to hold in your hand and has a light on it, which I'll get to in a second. Their 4th generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. The Lawnmower 4.0 is waterproof and also has a 4000K LED spotlight for a more precise shave.
Because this trimmer is waterproof, you can say goodbye to the mess on the bathroom floor. You thought that was good, but want to take your grooming game even further to the next level? The Performance Package 4.0 also includes the Weed Whacker nose and ear hair trimmer. The Weed Whacker is also waterproof and provides proprietary skin-safe technology, which helps reduce nicks, snags, and tugs in those delicate nose holes.
The Crop Preserver below-the-waist deodorant and Crop Reviver below-the-waist toner will change the way that you approach your daily hygiene routine. Manscaped even threw in 2 free gifts to their Performance Package 4.0. The Manscaped Boxers, which I am wearing right now, and the Shed Travel Bag that I use daily. Bring your comfort and boxers to another level.
Once again, get 20% off and free shipping with the code DORMDEBATE at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. And remember to use the code DORMDEBATE. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Dorm Debate podcast. Folks, we're about a quarter of the way through and things are heating up. On this episode, we're going to be talking about specific divisions and who we think is going to come in first and who we think is going to come in last in the division. We got 4 divisions to talk about: AFC North, AFC East, and then Nfc North and Nfc West. Going to be a great episode for you guys. I want to mention that you should go and subscribe and like this video, and make sure you go over to Instagram and TikTok and follow those platforms as well. And if you're listening on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts, make sure you leave us a 5-star review. Now, folks, let's get right into it with the AFC East. Now, that division is pretty surprising. We have the Dolphins at 3-1, who win the tiebreaker between the Bills. Bills are 3-1. Jets are 2-2, and then the Patriots 1-3. So I'm gonna go through my team that's in first and the team that I think is gonna come in last. So I'm gonna say the Bills are coming in first, and the Patriots are gonna be in last.
Wow. Okay.
John, what do you say, John?
I am going to go Bills. I think they will finish first, but I think the Jets will finish last.
You think the Jets will finish last? Okay, I'm just jotting this down. I will say, no, I'm trying to track more what we're doing. No, Jared, you copied mine. That's mine.
Ooh.
Wow.
So you have Bills,
Bills
and
topping out the division, and New England at the bottom.
okay, and I'm sure Jonathan's got the Bills at the top, right?
You have to. You can't let.
Here's what's gonna happen.
No, come on,
bias.
Jonathan.
The Dolphins will win the division. Once Tua's healed and things get sorted out in the next few weeks, they're gonna be back on track with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. They're unstoppable. Their offense is unstoppable. And so, look, they're gonna be there. They're gonna be there. They're gonna be first in the division. And last, I'm going with the Jets.
Okay.
Oh, good choice. Well, let me ask you a question about the Dolphins, though. Like, what if Tua misses like 4 more games? You still think they're gonna like Teddy's gonna go maybe one and like he has to win at least one of those 4, like maybe 2.
Well, he's missing next week for sure. And
Right.
we're entering week 5, just in case anyone listening or watching forgot. So he's at least missing 1 so far as we know. We're recording on Tuesday. So, Jonathan, you think with the 1 no Tua, it's still first place, but 4
Like
weeks?
how many games do you think Tua can miss before you're gonna change your prediction to Bills being first?
Well-
Because if Tua
well-
misses 10 games, you're obviously choosing Bills.
You have to, right?
Well, if you look at the Bengals game, they weren't doing too bad with Teddy in there. And the thing is, everybody was shook. Tyreek Hill even said it was tough to play after that. I don't know how I would play after that. Looking at somebody like that, I'll be like, oh, right?
Yeah,
So
that was tough.
going through all that and them still, moving the ball well. Look, they know Teddy Bridgewater's strengths and weaknesses. The offense wasn't looking too bad with him on the field. Okay, so I can see them win a couple games with Teddy there until Tua is fully ready to go. And again, this offense is unstoppable, and they have the pieces on defense to make some noise.
I mean,
so
I
they
think, yeah.
defeated the Bills last time, and they could do it again.
I think the key, like you said, is their defense. I mean, their defense is what's going to keep them in games because Teddy, he's going to be able to keep the offense afloat because he has guys that can do so much after the catch, Waddle and Hill. But it's that defense that's the key, and I think they could do well. They're playing the Jets this week, so they could definitely win that game. It'll be a good test without Tua there, but I mean, come on, the Bills, really? You think they're going to beat out the Bills in the division?
I mean, yeah, because the Bills haven't been looking. Look, they've been playing great teams and great.
Looking too good. They just beat the Ravens. Came back.
Dude. I don't want to get into that, but the Ravens.
What do you
had
not
that
want to get
one.
into?
What do you?
The Ravens had that one. The Ravens won that.
But
game,
they didn't win.
But Harbaugh did not keep. I don't know his name, Jim or John. I can't remember.
John.
That's John, right? Yeah.
He should have kicked the field goal and took it. He got. I don't know why he was trying to be too greedy or what. But look, they had that one. Okay, so
But
annoying stuff like that. Annoying stuff like that is just like, come on.
But why'd you let them come all the way back?
They let them come all the way back. I mean, look, that was great. I mean, of course they're gonna make plays. And their defense wasn't doing too great. The defense makes mistakes, but at the end of the day, the Ravens had him beat. Just kick the field goal, go to overtime. I'll pick Lamar Jackson overtime any day. He'd make a play.
Over who?
Over Josh Allen?
Yeah. Dude, and the thing about Josh Allen, he's a great player, but guys, y'all don't see what's going on?
You don't think you're biased?
Take away the running, and this guy is toast.
Okay,
Don't
and
even come
okay,
at me.
wait. Can you not say the same thing about Lamar? Take away the running and he's toast. You can't say that about Lamar?
No. The thing about Lamar, look, Lamar is able, like, all right, there's different types of running. This guy just plows into people.
Come on, bro. Come on.
No, dude, Josh Allen just plows into
You
people.
just hate Allen.
All right, number one, how long can that last? How long can your career last if you just continue to try to run into people? That's not smart. Number two, Lamar Jackson, he's swift. He tries to not get hit. So that's more of a smart way of playing.
Okay.
But Josh Allen, I mean,
But
I'm just saying,
what about throwing the ball though? Because you're saying if
All right,
Lamar
throwing the
didn't
ball,
have his
okay.
running and Allen didn't have his running, who's a better thrower? Like which offense were you more confident in if you told them you can't run the ball?
neither.
That means you want to say Bills, but you can't.
No,
So you're gonna say no.
Both will struggle without running. I mean, that's part of the game. So the best quarterbacks that make it far, Tom Brady's, and Patrick Mahomes, you got to be able to throw the ball like
Right.
95% of the time.
I mean, Jackson can
He has to be
throw.
comfortable.
It also,
He's not comfortable. Anytime he's in trouble, he's scared. Oh, let me run. Let me go.
Who,
Show how big I
Allen?
am. How long can that last, buddy? Yeah.
He's one of the most confident. I mean, having Diggs too, that's crazy. At least we got some agreement about either it's gonna, barring any other serious injury, it's gonna be Miami or Buffalo at number 1. And I mean, I'm surprised there's more friction about who's number one than me and Jarad picking the Patriots to be fourth.
But yeah, why do you guys think Patriots? Why do you think?
Yeah,
how do you think the Patriots are going to lose more games than the Jets? Like it's the
really
Jets.
don't.
I know they.
Whoa. The Jets came back and beat the Browns.
Yeah.
And then the Jets.
Oh wow,
back.
they beat the Browns. They beat this. Oh my gosh, they came back and beat the Steelers.
Yeah.
Oh wow, those are
really,
great wins. That's
those
impressive.
Those are really good defenses for the Jets.
Yep. Without
And
T.J. Watt,
and-
that's a great defense.
Oh, that's a great
Mika
defense. Wow.
Fitzpatrick.
Without Miles Garrett, he
Miles
was
Garrett?
playing that game, but
He
still.
was playing. But they
Trying to bait us.
got back Zach Wilson, and you have the Patriots losing Mac Jones. So
Well, I mean, the Patriots
have-
were on their third, right? I think was
and they
Bailey
just signed
Zapp.
Zapp,
yeah.
Garrett Gilbert too. They're hurting at the quarterback position, and you need a solid quarterback.
Although, fun fact, he was the first quarterback rookie of this season to throw a touchdown. Bailey Zapp, Patriots,
Oh, wow.
third string. So
Wow, no way.
just an
Well, because
interesting-
Pickett didn't throw a touchdown, he ran for one.
yeah,
or
it's
two.
a fun fact. Yeah, entering week 5. So I'm not saying
That's nuts.
I'm not saying he's gonna be a bust, but I just think it's different than betting against Brady. But we talked about this a few episodes ago. Like, I think there's a with Brady and post Brady Belichick, and I think this might be the first season where we see them really struggle with. Like, a great coach is really important, but we talked about this too. You need that quarterback element. And is Mac Jones the guy? I mean, maybe, but I just think the Jets are vastly improved, underrated. The run game is diverse with two guys, I think, running in the Carter and Penny. Was it
Brees Hall.
Brees Hall and Carter.
That's it. Sorry. So I think they're improved enough to at least eke out the Patriots.
So that means
It's like,
if you guys think the Jets won't get last, that means you probably think they're going to beat the Dolphins this week without Tua, right?
I mean, because
Because if they can't win this game against Teddy Bridgewater, how are they going to win against their next few games against Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Josh Allen? I mean, come
just
on.
by wanting it more.
Yeah, that's it. It's that simple.
Dude, it's
you could just
football.
tell.
It's like barring
You could
any injuries.
You could just tell that the Patriots are going to come back.
You can just tell, like, the vibe of the Jets is on the upward trajectory, and the Patriots just flatline.
Well, anyone
There's
looking
just-
I agree.
Sparta looked at
I
the
agree
Browns
with
game
that.
too and been like, "Oh, the Jets are gonna like on paper the Browns should be are I mean I'm rooting against them in a lot of ways. I'm openly biased against them the way some people think Jonathan's biased against the Bills. I'm not rooting for the Browns, but I don't think anyone's looking at the Jets Browns being like, "Yeah, I got the Jets confidently." But this is football, so same with the
Yeah, that's
Colts,
my thing. What do you see? We got about 30 seconds. What do you see in the Patriots that was like so shocking that we would have?
I think
them
Jonathan
Bill
and I
Belichick.
are both thinking the same thing. It's
Bill Belichick.
He's not going to
Of
get
course.
last in a division.
Yeah, come on. That's an
kinda
embarrassment.
wanna-
Yeah, that's embarrassing.
That's
He's
why-
not going to
that's
let that
why
happen.
I'm biased. I want to see that happen.
Whatever. Okay, so the next one, we're going to keep it in the AFC, the AFC North. So we talked about the Browns just now, and we talked about the Steelers. We're not very nice to their defenses, John and Jonathan. I have, in first place, should be no surprise, folks, I have the Bengals. And in last place should be the Steelers. John?
Yep, exactly agree. Bengals first, Steelers last. It's going to be, I like Pickett coming out, but it's going to be tough, I think, for him for the whole season. I think with Deshaun coming back, he'll be able to get a win or two more than the Steelers will.
For me, I'm going to say last. Steelers, I agree with that. It's tough with the quarterback situation. First, you guys, y'all didn't listen to me last podcast. Why are y'all lifting the Bengals up like that, man? They're not the same team. They're not going to get first. Ravens are going to get first. You think Lamar Jackson's not going to get first? Are you kidding me? What's wrong with y'all? They basically beat the Bills.
Wait.
And y'all think
The Bengals basically won the Super Bowl. I mean, if they didn't let Cup get that catch.
It's a new year, new team. Everybody knows the strategies. They're not. Cowboys beat the Bengals, so that means the Cowboys are gonna win the Super Bowl.
I mean, they should. They should,
They
but
should.
they
Exactly.
won't.
They should.
Caleb.
Yeah, I'm a little different, little alike. I'm gonna agree with Jonathan in that I have Baltimore win the AFC North first. But I'm gonna disagree with all you guys. This is tying into our last segment. I think fourth place will be the Browns.
I love it. Screw the Browns.
I don't want them to succeed this season.
Yeah, I agree. I like that. I'll flip mine. Yeah, I hate the Browns.
What I challenge you guys on is like we just talked about Belichick potentially like not letting the team go to fourth, but who's a better coach between Tomlin and with the Cleveland coach? What's his name?
Stefanski.
Yeah, I mean he's a good coach too, but I think Tomlin's better.
Yeah, but the thing is, you have to weigh the options. You have Belichick with a quarterback who even knows who it's going to be, and then you have Tomlin with Pickett. I would trust the combination of Belichick and some rookie quarterback than Tomlin and some rookie quarterback.
Mm-hmm. Tomlin, Tomlin has never had a losing season, so like there was talk of is this the first one, but
yeah,
that's almost
true.
That's interesting. That's why I'd rather bet on Cleveland or I don't think Cincinnati would be fourth, but they have some serious. We talked about this last week. They have some serious strategic and tactical stuff they have to work on. It's just not getting fixed.
That article you sent, Caleb, one of the things I have on here is that this team's success is contingent, one, on the O-line progressing, which it did last game, 8 times blitzed, 0 QB hurries, only 1 sack, and on Joe Mixon finally getting started, which is not entirely his fault, as we saw in the article. They're running Joe Mixon when there's too many people in the box, or they're going to cover 1. But then when it's cover 2 and they should be running, they're passing the ball. So it's kind of a mix of maybe Joe Mixon not playing as well as he did last year, and the coaching just not calling the right run plays at the right times for the right formations. But I want to give some background on the Ravens and how concerned I am for them.
Please do. Yes, they made mistakes, but come on, I mean, dude.
So not only have they blown a 20-3 lead and a 35-14 lead, not only have they done that, but listen to this, Jonathan. They have lost 5 straight home games dating back to November 28th of last season. And both of those blown leads were in Baltimore. How can you not keep the momentum in your own stadium, and how can you not just simply win in your own stadium?
I'll tell you exactly the reason for that, and that's probably going to change sooner rather than later. It's because they don't have a run game, and they finally have it with Dobbins back. But when you look at those 5 games, they haven't really had a running back. So Lamar, whenever they're up by a lot, what is he going to do? He's going to keep throwing it and getting incompletions. You have to, if you're leading, you have to have at least a little bit of a run game. They had Mike Davis back there and Kenyon Drake and Devonta Freeman last year. Come on, you need to give Lamar a little bit of help. So I disagree with that. Yes, you could harp on him for giving up big leads, but I think that's going to get better as the season goes on with Dobbins back, because when they do get a lead, they'll be able to run the ball a little bit. Because when Lamar does a read option, nobody's worried about Kenyon Drake or Devonta Freeman or Mike Davis. But with J.K. Dobbins there, they might be a little bit worried.
Yeah, in terms of getting up leads, that no blame goes against any players except the coaches. Okay, the coaches deserve all the blame for that. Coming back from, it was 20-3, and then the Dolphins coming back. Look, the Dolphins coaches are good. That was great game planning, but the defensive coordinator, I don't know who it is on the Ravens, but that goes on them. Because first half they're doing great.
They have a new defensive coordinator this season. The defensive coordinator from the Ravens last year went to the Giants this year.
Okay, yeah, he's struggling. You can tell he's struggling. He's having some issues. That's not so. You don't put that on Lamar or anybody. They scored a lot of points. I mean, 20 points in the first half is good, but I mean they should have scored some second half. Okay, fine. In terms of the Dolphins, they scored 35 points. That's good, and they still lost. I mean, that's just bad defense.
But what
People
about
not being in the right places?
What about just not closing out close games?
Your
second half adjustments.
We can't be here. We can't be hypocrites about close games. If you want to talk about close games, then let me talk about somebody else you guys like, the Bills. apparently
You're
the
off
Bills.
The Bills, Jonathan.
The Bills. Last thing, the Bills are 1-7 in close games. Apparently.
Yeah, that's a problem. I agree with that.
Yeah,
that is a problem.
They won. They just against the Ravens. Okay, fine, but they lost to the Dolphins, the Chiefs in the divisional round last year, Bucks, Patriots, Jaguars.
Yeah, whenever
Look,
it's a one-score game, they don't do very well.
Well, that's what.
Yeah, so
Not to.
many teams struggle with that, but I think it's again the defense for the Ravens right now.
It's an interesting take, the 1-7 Bills comparison. What I would say with the Ravens, it's not a unfair question, Jared, because I mean, in case anyone needs to be refreshed, not among you guys, but any listeners, like it came down to last game. It was either get a field goal to tie, I believe, or go for it on fourth and win the game with a touchdown, or well, not win the game, but was it to win the game or give a minute to see what happens? You know,
it was like you have to get a lead.
Get a lead and leave it a minute to see if the other guy can get them competitive. But what I would say to that is I was thinking about this. Like, we had this conversation before about going for it on fourth with the Ravens. Like, it's almost situationally they haven't been able to close out. And I saw an article describe it that they have a really high ceiling. Like, they are able to score points, and even with the injuries last year and the lack of a running element outside of Lamar being strong, they were still competitive. So having Dobbins back is huge. Having those things, I think this isn't a cop-out for every decision. Like, it's bad to give up a lead, but to be able to get a huge lead like that's already a huge advantage. They have the talent to do it. It's just they're not consistent, but the ceiling is so high that if they start to get the ball to fall their way, like those fourth quarter, there's a couple times I feel like where Harbaugh went for it on fourth, and they just don't get it, you know, and they lose the game when they could have gone a field goal. I think it's at least the second time that we've talked about it. And I was just thinking, maybe in hindsight, like, I like aggressive play calling. I like the style, but this is not the first time this has happened with the Ravens. That going forward, I think they're the team that can win those, but statistically, just take the tie. If I'm a Ravens coach, just because those fourth downs, they're just not getting it when the game's on the line. Like, they haven't been getting them in a few times. So I think they start going for the tie. But there's been a few games where it comes down to a decision like that, and I think that they'll still come out on top. I will say I have some statistics of where it's standing now. It's still a little early, 25% into the season, but right now in the AFC North, Baltimore to win the division has a 55.9% chance. The next place is Cincinnati with 28.7%. Just according to some of this.
Is that basing like scheduling?
Yeah, this is just like this website just was talking about it.
Huh.
Interesting.
Well, I mean, in my opinion,
It's about consistent.
I would take the Bengals on paper. Obviously, they upgraded at O-line, but it's still not showing the cohesiveness and the chemistry.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Thursday night, they played well.
Guys,
so we can only hope that it gets better.
They played well. I mean, of course they played well. And with the depleted Dolphins team, lost their starting quarterback. That sucked the air out of them. I mean, of course
I'm
they
more
better
concerned
play well.
of the fact that Mixon had 24 carries for 64 yards. He only averaged 2.5 yards a carry. That was every time he ran the ball, he ran right into the middle, into the back of his lineman, and fell down.
Yeah.
Right.
That team's not as good as you guys think.
We need to see pattern with the O-line with Joe
Yeah.
Mixon for me to confidently say, okay, they're fully back.
I mean, we're 4 games in. I mean, what else do you want to see? Like, they're not there.
Yeah, but the whole division is fucked. So, I mean, the Ravens are giving up 20, 30-point leads, and not everyone's perfect. So if you have the O-line as an issue, and it's one game in, we're improving against the Dolphins, the undefeated team, then you're doing something right. Let's carry it in the next week. But the Ravens right now are still winless at home in the last 5 games. That's a huge pattern than just 2 games, 3 games for the Bengals this season. So you got to think about that. You got to see the patterns with each of these teams.
The Ravens' problems are easier to fix than the Bengals,
Agreed.
I think.
Yeah.
We'll see. It's a fair pick for those two. I'm more, and for Browns,
I do agree with that. I think the Ravens' problems are easier to fix.
It's like just close out the games, versus score more points. It's a much different vibe.
That's fair. Let's move on to the NFC North. I know we're going to be pretty split here. We got the Vikings at 3-1, Packers at 3-1, Bears at 2-2, and then Lions at 1-3. Now, my last place team is the Bears. They're 2-2 right now. And then my first place team is going to be the Minnesota Vikings.
Okay, interesting. My last place team is the same. I think the 2-2 Bears are going to drop below the Lions. And I still think the Packers are going to win this division.
Okay. My last place team's the same. Bears are going to drop. And my first place team is the Vikings.
I love it.
Wow. Mine is first place winning the NFC North. I have Green Bay, and fourth as well is Chicago Bears. I'm
Okay.
I'm glad we're not divided against the Lions, guys. I
So
talked to
we-
I
Yeah, we all like the Lions just a little bit more than
Yeah.
the Bears. So let's get to the meat and potatoes here. Packers, Vikings. Now, in my opinion, I think the Vikings are due. I think offensively, they have all the weapons for it. I would take their receiving core over the Packers' receiving core any day. And the X factor for me, like I said with the Bengals and the running back, it's Dalvin Cook. If Dalvin Cook can be what he was last year and years before and be a even just 75 yards and a touchdown guy, it complements that passing game that's so well. Even Madison, if he could start up a little bit of momentum. But their run game is just dookie, and it's so bad. And when you have Justin Jefferson, Kirk Cousins, Thielen, like great receivers and great passing game, it does not help when your run game is not respected. So that's what I need to see improved for them to win a division. I think it will. I hope it will. I have Dalvin Cook, so I really, really hope that he starts to get better. I tried trading him away. Nobody wants him, so I'm stuck with him. So, yeah, I don't know what, Jonathan, what you want to add.
Yeah, I completely agree. Once they get that running game going, then this offense is going to be tough to stop. And look, I'm not going to lie. The Packers do look a lot better these past few weeks than they did the first game. Okay, I'm not going to lie. Aaron Rodgers and the offense is looking pretty good. But they did play the Patriots the past game, and it was they struggled a little bit. But I'm not gonna
win to overtime against the Patriots.
Yeah, but I mean, I will say they are looking good overall. I've seen major improvement, but still, the Vikings, if they can get their pieces together and they execute, then they should win the division. It's going to be tough stopping that offense.
You guys, they were playing in London last, right? Like Vikings,
Yeah,
Vikings
Yeah.
Saints.
Mm-hmm.
Fran Freak for you guys see that? It was like an early. Saw a lot of memes about anyone who still had Kamara because I think he was out, but waking up to see their lineup, there was a lot of talk on online about that. But they came out, that Minnesota win was really.
Double doink saved him. 3-1.
I watched it, and in the video, like it looked like it went in. So I'm looking at the ref to see what they're doing, and that's heartbreaking for the Saints because Dalton was got them. It's a 61-yarder, but I don't know. I will say the percentage, just bring it up for you guys. It's a little closer for the NFC North. The Green Bay is projected about 53% win the division. Minnesota about 41. So it's a little closer, and a similar, about a percent difference between Chicago and Detroit, who have 3 and 2, respectively. Percent.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if there's any time to do it for the Vikings after years and years and years of Kirk Cousins, you finally get an opportunity when Aaron Rodgers has no weapons at all except for Lazard, who's doing well but still needs to be. He's not on Devontae Adams level, so. Finally, their depleted Packers team. You can take over with one of the best receivers in the game and Adam Thielen, who's top maybe 15. Offense is great. This is the time. I feel it. I feel it. Just don't screw it up, Cousins.
No, and that's the thing. I mean, who do you trust more, Rodgers or Cousins? And I know everybody's going to
Obviously,
answer Rodgers to that, but at the same time, do you really trust Cousins in the last 4 or 5 weeks of the season when they're about tied or one game back to really win those games? Because they play each other week 17, which is the second game before the end of the season. So who do you think is going to win that game? It is in Minnesota, but I mean, I'm betting 100% that Rodgers is going to win that game because I know the
100?
division's 95% Rodgers is going to win
Okay.
that game because
Can't
the
let him
division
go.
might be on the
Yeah.
line at that point.
It could be.
So I trust Rodgers more. And that's really what it comes down to for me.
That was the same for me. I will say, though, it really could come down to the last game, because on this is just from teamrankings.com, but they follow really closely with 538. They're just one of the polling, like one of the projection leaders. So all these are, they're not set in stone. But Green Bay is projected to win about 11 games and then lose 6-ish. Minnesota goes 10-6 as well. The percentages that's why they don't add up to 17, but it'll be close according to these projections. Now, injuries can happen, but I'm the same reason why. I just think as long as Aaron Rodgers is playing in that division and it's Kirk Cousins at the helm there, he might have better weapons, but Cook isn't cooking, the way he should or could. And you have Thielen, you have Jefferson, but I think they're putting 2 on Jefferson. Like he's had a few games not do as well. It's not his fault. They're just like, I think it more shows that maybe Cousins isn't capitalizing on the running back position, on Thielen being there, tight end, there's depending too much on one guy, whereas the Bills, Stefan's good enough to maybe get the ball, but like they can diversify a little bit, so.
I'm also really concerned about the Vikings defense. I mean, it's really not good. I mean, how Andy Dalton comes in at quarterback and he doesn't have Kamara and he doesn't have Michael Thomas, and they score 20-something points and almost beat you, only due to a double doink. It wouldn't go to overtime, but seriously, like Chris Olave and Jarvis Landry and Mark Ingram beat you? Like
there was more chemistry.
And Andy Dalton, that's like a second, that's like a backup team you play against in practice. Like, I don't know. That's like really concerning, because if that team gives up points, do you really trust Cousins to be able to come back from a touchdown or two in the second half every single time? No.
Yeah.
Although, sorry, what were you going to say, Jared?
No, you're good.
I was going to add, I think last week or 2 weeks ago, I was like, who would you guys, of the mid-level quarterbacks, would you want Jared Goff or Kirk Cousins? I think we said, most of us said Goff, but
yeah.
Fun fact, though, is Goff and his tight end, I think Hawkinson, Goff was the highest performing quarterback in fantasy this week, and They still lost, but it was like, I was surprised to see Goff at number 1, and then Hawkinson was the number 1 performing fantasy player, period. Like he was a tight end, but it was like to outperform wide receivers and running backs. Talking about being on the cusp of greatness, I feel like with Goff and Detroit with the weapons, I don't know.
They're also number 1 total offense, I think.
Yeah,
but their defense is like 31st.
Yeah, like it's skewed because they had
every game they're in is going to be 30 to 35.
It was a very high scoring game. Fair enough, so it's a little skewed, but like it's impressive. I don't know. And Kirk Cousins is not a bad. He's a great quarterback. It's just Aaron Rodgers in that division. I don't.
As long as it's not a primetime game. As long as it's not primetime.
Well, Jared, good news for you. The Vikings and Packers play Week 17, and it's not primetime. It's a 4:25 game.
What about the other time they play?
They already played the first week of the season. The Vikings beat them 23-7 at home.
So that's why I had them at a tiebreaker on this one.
Okay. Right. So there's a chance.
All right, so I'm glad that we all agreed on the Lions, though.
Yeah,
that's good. Feel good.
A little hope in Detroit is a good thing.
And Jamal Williams with that celebration. You see, he got fined.
What was the?
No, that's funny.
What was it?
He did. Was
it the pump?
Yeah, the Key and Peele, like the hip thrusting. They throw the flag. That's what
did they actually
choose the max?
Yeah, it's 3 max, I think. Right?
Or 3 max.
I think it's 3 max. Because in the
3 max
sketch, they
3 thrusts.
Three thrust, yeah.
You can only do 3 hip thrusts. After the third one, you're flagged.
And for those
$13,000.
His celebration was to thrust repeatedly, and he went over the 3, and he's getting fined.
Every one after that is another $13,000. So it's like
NFL's
just counting it. Like,
that's
poor
another
like
13. Intern at
13,
NFL has
13.
to watch the video and circle
the.
All right, the groin move there.
They're in their meeting, just circling it on the PowerPoint.
It's like, sir, I think it was about 4 or 5, and
3.5.
The guy running the meeting is like, I can't watch somebody else count.
There wasn't as much enthusiasm towards the end, so I don't know if we count a full one for that.
It was more like hip rotations, not
rotation.
As much thrusts. So maybe
so now they have to count how many circles he made.
Right.
Yeah,
the diameter of the.
Yeah.
We gotta. Anyone listening, it's trying to picture it. It's no, there's no need. No need for
I'll
this.
I'll put an image up. Maybe
Put
maybe,
the
actually,
image and just to
you
give
know, I
people
don't-
an example.
I don't want to get demonetized. Actually,
Yeah, that's probably why
I
they.
can't.
He already got
Demonetized from the 20 cents we get.
He already
Hey,
got
that's-
demonetized. The player did.
That's
So.
important. It's important.
I need my nickel this week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
NFC West is our last division. Now, this was a late ad. This was an audible because the 49ers beat the Rams yet again in the regular season. I don't know how. 8 straight. Freaking Shanahan has McVay's playbook or something because they looked awful.
According to
The Rams looked so bad. Did they even score a touchdown?
No.
9 points.
Two
Ridiculous.
weeks in a row, Stafford doesn't throw a touchdown
Really?
pass.
Coop.
That is concerning for me, and I'm going to say the first place team is the 49ers. I don't know if it's a little recency
Ooh,
bias.
Okay.
I got 49ers, and in last place, we got the Seattle Seahawks and Geno Smith.
You don't.
I am going last place. I think it will be the Seahawks. But for first place, I'm going with the San Francisco 49ers.
So you're agreeing with Jarad.
Yeah, why'd you say but?
Just to throw you
I
guys
know
off.
it did throw me off. I was like, wait, did I hear Jarad?
Leave you
already?
in suspense.
Jonathan, you want me to go? Or are you thinking?
He looks like
I
he's
can go.
still looking. He's still
Yeah.
thinking.
No, I was thinking too. They're all two for background.
They're
anyone,
all- oh, yeah,
they're
they're-
2-2.
Yeah, they are all 2-2. I forgot to mention that.
Mhm.
That's why it's one of the hardest divisions to pick, because they are all 2-2.
Cardinals
Yeah.
get DeAndre Hopkins back in 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. I'm going to pick the 49ers to win it. And yeah, I'm going to say Seahawks are going to get last.
Wow.
Okay, Caleb.
Caleb,
This
do you
might-
go chalk?
It might be a short segment.
chalk
here.
on the board.
Dun dun
I'm
dun dun.
not going to be the same as you guys. I'm not fully decided yet, so this is a bit of a impulse.
It's on the spot. What do you
Well,
feel?
let me-
What's
let
the
me-
heart
let me
want?
talk through a little bit. I think I'm surprised. I'm almost looking at first place between Arizona and Seattle. I'm surprised you.
Wait, are you serious?
Yeah,
Maybe we
Geno
should think it over.
Geno Smith?
I like him. You guys are.
Yeah,
you guys
I
are
think we
writing
should-
him off.
I think you're right. We should talk through this a
You guys,
little bit.
I'm some patient, and you gotta bring me back to reality.
Well, let's think about this here. You have Kyler Murray, Matthew Stafford, Jimmy Garoppolo, Geno Smith. There's an outlier there.
You okay when you
What, Matt,
say it like Geno.
Matt Stafford?
Well, no, Matt. Okay, Matt Stafford, I love, but they're not. Okay, let me defend my position. Again, this is impulse, so y'all put me on the spot, but I did this to myself. The Rams, I love Stafford. I talked about him all last season. He's that guy, but dealing with some injury stuff, not as much friction. That Super Bowl hangover might be affecting the Rams longer term than the Bengals. The Bengals, what Jonathan does touch on is the issues that they had. They still got to the Super Bowl, but we were aware of what was holding them back, and the Bengals are kind of still. I don't want to say building because they just went to the game, but I think the Rams are just dealing with the Super Bowl hangover. I think that's, and their injury, a little bit of that is affecting Stafford a bit.
Their receiving core is atrocious.
Yeah, it's really struggling.
I think Robinson.
went-
I've always been a fan of Robinson, but I don't think he's filling the role they wanted the way
Right.
they lost Woods, and that people talked a lot about.
And they lost
losing Woods.
Odell.
Yeah, losing those guys, they really went all in on the Super Bowl last year, and I talked about it. We talked about this year. Give props to them as a franchise to put everything on the line and to win that year. Last year. I think you're just seeing some of the pains of that decision that's affecting them now. They held on. They have Cup, and he's the number one guy, but Woods and Beckham, they played a huge part in taking that attention off. So,
Dun dun.
part of me has the Rams
Dun, dun.
or Arizona
Pick one now.
for fourth place.
Yeah,
You guys
pick
are
your
so high
last
on San
place.
Francisco. You guys like Garoppolo more than Stafford?
No.
I like Debo.
I do like Devo too. Yeah, and
I
Kittle.
like
Debo.
I like their defense.
Oh yeah. Their defense is good.
And I like Jeff Wilson Jr. Yeah, he's a good brand.
And I like how the fact that the 49ers really, when's the last time we saw them fully healthy? Like, Debo's been nicked up. Last season, Debo wasn't really hurt that much, but Kittle was hurt.
We'll never
now,
see him fully healthy.
Well, I guess
Kittle's-
Elijah Mitchell's out, so yeah, they won't be. But
Yeah.
I mean, they're getting healthier, and their defense is still really solid. And Shanahan's digging up that old playbook that he used last season when Debo got a lot of touches. So I like how this team is doing. Remember what they did last season? Remember, like, the last 7 games of the season, they went like 6-1, and then went all the way to the NFC Championship game. So I think they're rekindling that chemistry and that playbook that they had then, and I think they're just going to ride that throughout the season. Not saying they're going to be top in the NFC. I think they will be top in the division, especially with the Rams struggling in almost all phases, really.
I'm gonna make a gut decision with this division. Like, it's
Dun, dun.
not even grounded fully in the logic of everything I just said. I'm gonna go number 1. I'll say it. I'm gonna pick Seattle to win the division.
Ooh,
I
All
want to
right.
see that happen. It's just a
All
gut
right.
feeling. They're all 2-2, so the playing field is literally equal. I will say this as I'm looking at a sheet that projects
yeah, what's the percentage of the Seahawks? Give us that. Why are you hiding that?
It's got to be
We
like
got 2 minutes
it's got to be
left.
like 8.
They have the Seattle Seahawks have a 4.4% chance to win.
Oh,
But I just like Geno Smith. He can ball.
You're drinking the Kool-Aid. You got too much.
Y'all
Kool-Aid.
write them off. They're also
No.
projected to go 6-10ish. In
Is that-
win-loss. The reason is I think the Rams are they're just not gelling the way they are. I think it's a Super Bowl hangover. I can't bring myself to want, like, I like Debo. I want him to do well, but I feel like the 49ers don't have outside of Samuel and Kittle, who are, the biggest pieces are Garoppolo and Shanahan. I don't know if they have that extra fire to propel them against other teams that they'll face throughout the year. And it's a gut feeling. And I think Arizona getting Hopkins back will also, like, smooth out a lot of wrinkles that they had some friction there with the coach and Kyler, but Kyler's running ability, like, that will open up so much. So that's why I was between Arizona and Seattle. And I just think, I don't know.
Do you guys think when D-Hop comes back that it will just kind of solve all the
Yes.
problems
Oh, yeah.
for Cardinals?
I do.
He's like barring any, like, weird
Is
development.
D-Hop even that good anymore?
Oh,
You talking to
on.
John? John,
Come
Love?
on now.
He's like
Come
a
on,
Diggs
Jared.
for Kyler.
He's legit. Like, if he's out there, it opens up the playbooks. Marquise Brown has more room to run around. They'll move the ball down the field more. They're going to score more points. This team's going to be good. Trust me.
It's like Stafford and Cup, Allen and Diggs, and I think Hopkins and Kyler. Like, they just have that
Yep.
gel. This is the most illogical take. So I'm sorry for anyone listening that's hearing my rant.
Wait. Who was your?
The first is Seattle. I'm gonna go with my
who's
gut
that?
and say Rams are in 4th.
Winner- wait,
I'm
there
not
ha-
saying
wait,
this
you have
just
to
be contrarian.
please
I have a
look
gut
up
feeling.
Look up the stat first before you make that pick.
I am. I'm
Has
looking at the
anybody
sheet.
won the Super Bowl and then lost their division? That might have never
yeah,
That's
happened.
like you know the stat.
I
John?
feel like
No, I don't, but I want to know. I want to know if that's happened.
I think it might have been. I think it might have been the 49ers when they went to the Super Bowl, and the next year they had all those injuries and they came in last.
No, I'm saying
It's
win the
just-
Super Bowl.
It's just a gut feeling. I can't because, like, again, I'm.
Oh, you mean win?
Win and then
Oh,
get
okay.
last in your division.
Okay. I don't know.
I will say, for those wondering, because I've been bringing up the stats, San Francisco to win the division is 48.9%, and then Rams 28%, Arizona 18.7%, and then, as I mentioned, Seattle 4.4%. But we don't have to. It's just a gut feeling. I don't know.
I mean, in reality, we're making fun of you, but at the same time, anyone could.
Yeah,
Anyone
yeah,
could
it
win
be
this.
All
anything.
2-2.
Yeah,
Like, any of these teams could go on like a slump or a hot streak.
Or injuries, like it's
Injuries.
sucks, but yeah, I don't.
I
It's
would-
just a gut feeling. I
I
wanna.
would love to. I would love to have. The
It's not always about
Cardinals
being
win
right.
it.
It's about following your heart.
Yeah, I mean, or following like your fantasy team. Like, I got Kyler, and I would love to see them
Yeah.
hit a hot streak when D Hop comes back and they start scoring a bunch of points and he helps me. But
Yeah, I have Debo, so I'll be happy if I'm wrong.
yeah, I just have recency bias after last night. Debo just went off. Garoppolo's hyped up. Like, I don't know. It just feels.
Yeah, we're not
It feels like everything's clicking.
We're not
but-
afraid to talk about our feelings on this podcast.
Yeah, like sometimes there's just no stats.
Yeah.
It's just straight from the heart.
Honestly, I like that about it.
Kind of like our next segment when we go into our predictions.
Yeah.
And like I just had a feeling that Clyde Edwards-Helaire and the Chiefs were gonna win and get touchdowns.
Bringing it
and
back.
I also thought that
that was impressive.
Bengals.
That was
the
impressive.
Bengals, I thought they were gonna win too. So I think I was 2-0 this week in the predictions.
I mean, dude. Okay. The Dolphins, dude. Tua got hurt. That changed everything, and you know it. You know that.
No, they still wouldn't have won. I don't think.
Are you kidding me? I was about to be.
It would have been close.
I was about to be a great ending.
Yeah.
It was, but it's still a win in the win.
I'm worried about Tua's season. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, because when I saw that injury too, I took first aid, and I don't want to diagnose from an armchair, but like the hand thing that he did, I thought at first his finger was jammed or something, right? But it reminded my head flashed back to like first aid when there's something called the fencing effect when you get a really bad head injury that your arms go like at a right angle or erect, like it's like and when I realized it wasn't the finger jam, I was like, oh, that's usually a sign of a really bad concussion. So part of me, I know he was having fun on the flight back, and thank goodness he has feeling in his body. Like certainly it changed the game nature, but I mean, I don't know, part of me is like maybe shouldn't come back this season.
I mean, you always want, like, Bengals, Dolphins, you want the best players out there, and you really want to see the best against the best,
Right.
and see who wins. I saw Tua. There's a couple doctors that have come out saying that he should like really consider not playing football anymore.
There was the guy from I think it was the guy from
Concussion.
that Will Smith played, the doctor,
Yeah.
the leading guy on CTE, the concussion movie. I think he said
Yeah.
please, like, just don't play again, and I
Yeah,
can't.
but that's happened to other players, and they've come back. So
I don't know all the science, and I know
obviously any doctor should say you shouldn't play football, even if you haven't had an injury. They could go up to a rookie and be like, "Oh, you shouldn't play." Well, because you shouldn't. There's more
you
risk
shouldn't.
than reward. But
Exactly.
that's a real thing though.
Yeah.
Like you risk the potential of an injury like that. I mean, that's part of the game, sadly, but as exchange, like, you support your family and you're a millionaire, like,
yeah,
and thankfully the league's gotten better, and those kind of hits, like, I was thinking back growing up, you can watch highlights of like what Lewis on the Ravens, like the way players used to get hit even when I was growing up, like, I think the league has changed that even tackles, players are just much more conscious of just leading. I mean, better technique's always good, but like not hitting outrageously hard. It's still a tough game, don't get me wrong, but it's just like watching older highlights from early 2000s. Some of those like hits are just ugly, so the league has changed that players are more conscious. And that helps, so yeah, I mean, but as far as now, Tua's just out for the week, but yeah, let's go to our picks.
Going into the picks, I want to do a check on the standings because we have some shifts in the standings for the first time. And we have yours truly. Jarad is in first place at 5-3, and I'm in first because I make the graphic. And John's second at 5-3.
Hey, I've been first for the last few weeks. You have to overtake me before you put me down a spot.
Yeah, well, I made the graphic.
What are you gonna do?
Jarad 5-3, John 5-3, Caleb
Yeah.
drops. He was 0-2, unheard of.
Oh,
And he is now 4-4.
Dang.
And Jonathan was 1-1. He went 2. He's now 2-6.
2-6.
Wow, 2
2-6. 6.
Oh, wait,
remember last week?
I have to go back and
Last
check
week
this.
you were 1
I really have to go back and check this stuff. I feel like y'all messing around with me. I really feel like y'all messing around.
I think we
I could
recorded
have sworn
this.
I won for like 4 games. I thought I got 4 games.
1-4.
Yeah.
Well,
No,
you
I
go
think-
back.
You said
I think it's I think you're mixing up the predictions with like games that should have been won. Like,
Yeah.
basically they won, and
Yeah, you're saying
Oh,
basically the Ravens won, so you're
think you're
thinking in
mixing
your head
up
that
those
they won.
the realities are
Yeah, I have to go
are
back and check.
conflicting.
Why don't you? How about? Why
I
don't
feel
you
like
watch
you
the?
guys messing with me. You messing with me. I'm at 2-6. He's messing around. There's no way I'm 2-6.
Why don't you do some fact checking after this?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
well,
need to
it's
just fact check it,
recorded.
yeah.
We should keep track of it. I mean, Jared keeps track of it. What are we?
I feel like y'all are
gaslighting
joking.
us?
I feel like you're joking. I feel like y'all are playing a joke on me. I'm not. This is my
No.
Jonathan.
I went.
Jonathan,
Jonathan,
actually,
expect
you're
me to
right.
believe I'm
Actually,
doing this?
Jonathan, you're right. We messed it up. You're actually 6-2. You're in first place. Does it feel?
Okay, that sounds.
Do you
about
think
right.
you're in
That
first?
sounds a little better. That sounds about right.
Don't do that.
Unfortunately, Jonathan, you're just this bad at predicting.
Oh, okay. Now, Jonathan, that means you got to get these right. Prove them wrong.
I know. I'm bummed about being
Okay.
0-2. It actually affected me greatly just now. What are our?
It just affected me greatly right now.
All right, so
one of them. What-
the first game we got is Bengals at Baltimore Ravens, and then we have Eagles versus Cardinals.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, we got a good one. I'm gonna leave the Eagles one for last.
Yeah, that's an easier
so
one.
that Caleb can think about his pick a little bit longer. Bengals at Ravens. Now, let's not go too far back. I just told you the Ravens haven't won a game in 5 home games, dating back to last year. So I'm just going to go with pattern, and the pattern is the Bengals are going to beat the Ravens. And I saw a lot of people saying, oh, of course he's going to pick the Bengals because he's a Bengals fan.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not a full-on Bengals diehard fan. It's just Chris
We're all
Evans.
Chris.
He's on our podcast.
Yeah, we're all Chris Evans fans.
It's a
all Chris
personal
Evans, yeah.
choice, not a team choice. So I will always rep Chris Evans for his generosity. And even though this is not looking good, it's Bengals again, but I have Bengals because Ravens can't win a game in Baltimore. John?
Oh, I go last for these.
You're not
Well,
first anymore.
I'm
I'm in first.
You know, I'm gonna go ahead and.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go ahead and.
Jared,
I'm gonna go ahead and side. I'm gonna go ahead and side with the people in the comments. Okay, now you pick the Bengals to win this game, and then you pick them to win the division, and you're wearing a Bengals jersey, and you want us to
Oh.
believe it. It's not no bias there. Come on, Jared.
Ain't
We don't believe it.
no-
We're not buying it.
I am a sometimes neutral moderator. I resent
This is
that,
one of these
okay?
times that you're not sometimes.
Well,
Look at, I even have a Bills hat right here.
Where's your
I
Chargers
literally-
gear?
you're a Chargers fan, aren't you?
Yeah, that's in the closet. When they're good, I'll bring it back out.
They're 2-2, and so are the
This is a
Bengals.
sports podcast, guys.
I'm picking the Ravens to win. The Ravens are gonna win. I feel like there was a lot of disappointment and anger when they were upset again by the Bills. When I say upset, I mean everybody knows they should have won, right? If they just kicked the field goal, chip shot.
Everybody knows it.
And so yeah, there you saw Marcus Peters and the head coach about to go at it at the end, right? Everybody's frustrated. They want to win. They're hungry to win. So yeah, I feel like the Bengals coming off of a win and them feeling a little complacent because they think they beat the undefeated team, even though their quarterback got injured. The Ravens are coming in angry that they lost to 2 pretty good teams, but they should have won. They know they should have won. They're right there, but they lost. They're coming to win this game. They're coming to show the world that, hey, we're the real deal. We mean business. We're coming back stronger than ever. So
Are they going to
Ravens
blow them out?
Hey. Well,
Getting them going.
the defense sucks. I mean, the defense is terrible. I mean, right now the Ravens defense.
So
is
it'll be a high-scoring, close game.
I
It's
think
fine.
I'm gonna use the term blowout, but I think Ravens will beat them by a couple scores. Ravens will beat them by a couple scores. And I'm
So
gonna say
not-
So
blowout.
at least 6 points. 'Cause
So
oh
not-
yeah,
They won't shut them
oh, yeah.
down, but they'll take away the option.
Yes, Caleb. Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking.
That's
Won't shut them down. They'll just
No,
negate
we're
them.
teasing. That's a callback to last episode. If there's any
They'll
regular listeners.
they'll make them not an option.
I will agree though. I'm high on the Ravens. I'm picking the Ravens to break that pattern. I think it's I think it's called the hot hand fallacy from The Big Short, where the same result is expected over and over again. It's like a gambler's fallacy. I don't know. I think they're gonna break that streak. So I think the Ravens got this one. Jonathan said
Well-
everything I needed to say.
I'm going to bring the stats from last season in. These teams are in the same division, so they played twice last season. The first time they met, Jamar Chase had over 200 yards and 3 touchdowns. The Bengals won 41-17. The second time they met, the Ravens couldn't figure out the offense again, and T. Higgins had over 200 yards and 2 touchdowns, and the Bengals put up another 41 points, and the Ravens put up 21. And I know the Ravens didn't really have running backs, and now J.K. Dobbins is back, but they don't have Marquise Brown, who they had last year. So I think Sunday night, I just don't think the secondary is going to have any answer for Higgins and Chase. I think both Higgins or Chase are going to go over 80 yards, probably a touchdown each, and it's going to be high scoring. I just don't think that the Bengals or the Ravens will have an answer for the Bengals offense. So I'm going Bengals.
All right.
Divided.
So two Bengals, 2 Ravens, yet again divided.
Okay.
And we'll go into our last game. The only undefeated team, the Philadelphia Eagles. Sounds good, doesn't it, Caleb?
It does.
Look at that.
It does.
Nick Foles still hanging on to that Super Bowl.
Yeah.
We have the Eagles at Arizona Cardinals. The Cardinals came off a win against somebody who, forget who, but they just came off a win. And the Eagles obviously came off a nice win against
The Cardinals,
the Jags.
Cardinals beat the Panthers. Yeah, Eagles beat the Jaguars.
You beat your former coach, Doug Peterson,
Got
who won you the Super Bowl. How rude is that?
Got a standing
Caleb?
ovation at the link, which Eagles
Good.
fans are some of the bloodthirstiest fans in the league. I'm one of the more calm ones, but I'll say that was he'll always have the respect of Philly. I think he still has a house there. I mean,
That's very
it was
nice.
very class
because,
from the Philly fans. So
the Seahawks booed Russell Wilson, so I
know.
was worried that they were going to boo Doug Peterson.
I was like, yeah. I mean, that is crazy that they booed Russ. Actually, I know the way he left is much different, but I thought it was very class from Philly fans to do that. I mean, we still want to win. There's no shame, no reservation about that. But yeah,
I'm sorry, Caleb.
don't
I'm
do a fake out.
really,
Do a fake out.
I'm really sorry.
You can't.
I think it's a trap game.
Oh,
Undefeated going into Arizona. Cardinals not looking the best. They may not take them seriously.
No,
And
it's not.
in Arizona, time difference. They're going to the Pacific Standard Time. A little shaky. I think their luck's going to run out in this game. Not to say that they're not going to win the division, Caleb, but in this game, on this week, I'm taking the Cardinals.
Okay,
Wow.
that hurts.
Hey,
I'm not. I'm surprised. Coming from you.
hey, I like Kyler Murray and everything. But there's like the phrase they used to call region in Texas that was pretty good at football. They called them like it's East Texas, but they called them Beast Texas.
Uh-huh.
So I'm gonna coin that term here, the NFC Beast.
Hey,
Dude, I think the Eagles are the real deal. Their defense is good.
thank you, Jonathan.
Okay, their defense is good, and their offense can score. Jalen Hurts is a great leader. He wants to win, and his team respects him. They love him. I think this team's gonna beat the Cardinals, and they're gonna make a statement. If they haven't made a statement already by being undefeated, I think they'll make a statement in this game. I think the Eagles are a good team.
Thank you, Jonathan. That means a
I'm
lot.
They're gonna win.
surprised. I'm surprised by you, Jonathan. What's going on?
What's going
What's
on?
going on?
I'm trying to bring up my score because you guys say I'm 2-6, even though I think I'm like
Oh,
5
okay.
and 1. But so I want to be right. I think the Eagles are gonna win.
Thank you, Jonathan. That's class from you.
Thank you.
Caleb, I'll give you $10 to pick the Cardinals.
No, you could give me $1 million.
Still wouldn't do it.
No.
It's bad juju.
I like how I was just like, it's either between Arizona and Seattle to win the division, and then I'm like, I'm obviously gonna pick the Eagles. I'm picking the Eagles. Like, duality of man, as I said last week. Yeah, I'm picking the Eagles. I don't know much more to add. I think I like Kyler a lot. If they had Hopkins, I'd be more worried. Again, this isn't undefeated's like a nice brand to have, but the job's not done. You know what I mean?
It's a target.
Yeah, it's a target on your back, and it can lead to complacency the same way a Super Bowl hangover can. But I think if you stick to the fundamentals, and like Jonathan said, the leadership of Hurts has really come to show. And I mean, you guys have been high on him, even when I was still holding on to Wentz. Like, I like what I've seen. If it was a running game between Kyler and Jalen, like, I'd like both of them, but just Hurts is putting on like an MVP caliber. not to say it's all got to be earned. So I think the Cardinals will put up a good challenge. I was legitimately worried about losing to the Jags because I know Doug Peterson. I like what they were doing. Like, it was a close game to start, so the Eagles kind of broke out. So I think got to keep that underdog mentality. The job's not done. Doesn't matter. Undefeated doesn't matter. We got to win the whole thing. So taking it week by week and not underestimating the opponents. So I think the Cardinals will put up a good fight, though. I think, like you said, Jarad, it could go either way, but I'm an Eagles fan. Go with the Eagles.
All right.
All right, I'm picking the Eagles.
Hey.
Yes.
Oh.
No reason.
No, this podcast has gone on too long.
All right, bye, guys.
Yeah, all right.
All right, see you guys next
Like,
week.
subscribe.
All right, fine. I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all.
Talk. I like that.
Yeah, you guys, you don't learn. You have to follow the leader.
And who's in
follow
first?
He's talking about
I
the
think I
Eagles,
am.
like being undefeated, letting them like underestimate. I feel like, Jarad, you got to first, and now you're like, I'm.
Who has the most consecutive weeks of being first? That's me. Jarad, you have one week.
Okay, so y'all don't want to do anything fun where if the person that wins gets first place.
No, that's not fair. Because then
How's that- I mean, it's fun.
how would
We
your
need
rank?
one-
How would your
all right.
record change?
It's spontaneous.
No, let's pick another. We could do Dallas Rams. fast, like a flash pick.
Dallas Rams?
Yeah.
No. We'll do it next week.
Okay,
We'll do it
okay.
next week.
Let's go to Las Vegas.
Jonathan was
I can't
ready to
just-
pounce on that.
Yeah, I can't just do it on the spot like that.
That's
You think
too spontaneous.
You think first happens easily? There's research involved.
Yeah, we got to.
Let's pick the most random game. Titans Commanders.
It's the most boring game.
Baltimore and Bengals is pretty random.
No.
No, it's not.
It's prime time.
That's not the random game.
We got to. We got to look at the
All right.
literature between for the picks.
All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked it, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and go over to our TikTok and our Instagram at Dorm Debate Podcast and follow us over on those platforms. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, please leave us a 5-star review. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys next week.